We are looking at a car on top of a car. That's some next level YouTube reviewing, but I didn't have any space inside and it was loud in there. The dog and the wife, she's outside sweeping now. I don't know what's going on. Listen, people had some complaints about the 89 Batmobile. I thought for the price point, they knocked it out of the park. This is a little more perfect. It's a little better. It's the canopy doesn't need to be replaced. The touch of a button, look at little gains in there. Canopy comes open. There's a lot to like about this tumbler. The edging, the paint, the rubber wheels. It's a solid release. Is it pricey at $100? I don't know, maybe. Getting that Morgan Freeman perfect likeness. Maybe they had to pay something for that. Listen, sometimes I'm negative. Sometimes I'm positive. Sometimes I complain about price. Sometimes I complain about availability. Some of that will be in this video. But overall, McFarlane is killing it. Let's talk about that next as I stumble and mutter on Toy Gains.
Toy Gains! Yes! It's you and me, baby! Toy Gains! I can't take it anymore! It's Toy Gains!
Looks pretty good. As I mentioned, you hit a button, pops open. You got tiny gains in there, 6-inch figure, 7-inch figure, fits no problem. I think a bigger G.I. Joe, like Gung Ho and Roadblock, I know Valaverse is making a bigger buck, will look cool in there. Kind of consumes a 6-inch figure, but it's meant for a 7-inch figure. I think a bigger 6-inch figure, does any of that make sense? Will look great in there. Flip it around back. These don't move. This is just a nice, solid looking hunk of plastic. There's the back. It's the tumbler. If you like this design, you will like this release. And I like both. Let's move on to, it's the year of the vehicle and year of the cloth cape, as someone mentioned on the Mega Powers podcast or Broad. And they were right. We will talk about some things he's just doing really well. And he killed this Dark Knight trilogy line. He really did. Let's talk about Lucius Fox and some other pickups I've had over the past few days and why they are weird, but also why they are pretty damn good. Let's move on. This release could have been a disaster. It could have been a laughing stock. Do I need to remind people of the Batman, the Rider figure that McFarlane had to pull promotional pics of because it looks so ridiculous? Thankfully, it's a home run. This is a home run. And I know it's just Lucius Fox. I know it's Morgan Freeman or Red from Shawshank Redemption. Magnanimous. When I first saw Andy strutting down, I knew I was going to like him. Great movie. But are we going to get another Morgan Freeman character figure? Maybe. Hot Toys will do it, but then it'll be $200. So for this figure to come with the tumbler to look this good is a real treat for fans and a real treat for toy collectors who like oddities and unique stuff. As we see Jeff Goldblum back there and Jeff Bridges back there, that's why toys are so much fun. I'm ripping my shirt off, baby. I'm in the garage and I'm sweating. I'm not going to show you that, though. You guys deserve better. Video games are something I'm passionate about, and I still play them. But video games have been on a huge decline, and I'm going to talk about that in the next couple of weeks as to why they're on a decline. Toys are not on a decline, especially in the 6-inch, 7-inch scale. Of course, Hot Toys always brings the heat. And I keep getting surprised by toys. Whereas what video games, everything feels like an Ubisoft game. Madden's the same every year. Call of Duty's the same every year. Every indie game is a Souls, Metroidvania-like. Everything is just copying something else that does happen in toys, but it happens in a positive, fun way. Point is, did I think Morgan Freeman was going to have an action figure this year? Nope. Could have been a disaster. Look at Jason Momoa. He didn't really nail this head. It just, the paint is kind of off. So for it to look this good, really, really great, really fun time to be a Batman collector or just collector in general. Let's move on to the Manhunters figure, because I have some stuff to say about that, and the Sportsmaster. Next, here is a Manhunter who hunts down Green Lantern. Martian Manhunter messes with this guy. Army builders, though. It's not one guy. And that's the dumb part. You know, when you think Platinum Edition, you think a repaint or something with something different, maybe a different head sculpt or unmasked head. And, you know, it makes sense. This is the regular edition. The Platinum one has something slightly different. Why would just a regular figure be called Platinum Edition? Why would an army builder show up one at a time at GameStop and not be on your website, not be on Big Bad Toy Store? Doesn't make any sense. I want 3 of these now. I don't want 1. I want 3 of these figures right now. First world problems, I know. What's slick here is this faceplate comes out. You could put a damaged faceplate in there. Very slick. I don't know if it's unique. Other companies do stuff like that. I just talked about that. Inspector Gadget. So he's borrowing from other companies. Smart. You know, nothing is hindered because of these shoulder pads. They're pliable. They bend. This is a nice sculpt. This is a new sculpt, which we will get into in the next figure because that's a lot of reuse, but I'm usually cool with it. I don't think any of this is reuse, and it is a knockout figure. It's just something that the average person won't really know who it is. And let me show you something. Because the colors are the same and it probably reminds you of Magneto, here's a Mafex Magneto. It's focused on him. It's kind of a little unfocused. I know that cape is gorgeous. There's just as much tooling in this $20 figure or $22 figure than there is on this $65 figure. Take that what you will. Take from that what you will, rather. Let's move on to Sportsmaster. I'm certain Todd just dug up some McFarlane Sports Picks, hockey sticks and baseball bats for this, because it feels a little, the bat feels scaled down. I'm certain these are McFarlane Sports Picks accessories. This is the Dark Knight reuse. Different forearms, though. Paint is nice. There's some dry brushing of metal on that. This is where that Dark Knight detective, by the way, who has thigh swivel. So this has thigh swivel. Very interesting that that figure has thigh swivel. I don't know if it was meant for a motorcycle. It's a peculiar thing as to why that figure has thigh swivel. No vehicle was made for it. You know, the Batman that was for Dark Knight Rises or Dark Knight, whatever. Which Dark Knight was that? Who rides the horse? Has thigh swivel so he could fit on the horse. So it made sense. It's an anomaly. It's odd, but he has thigh swivel. Hockey mask head looks great. The hair looks great. You know, can you look at this figure? I like the way the torso cut is hidden underneath that armor. I love that. I love when you can hide ugly torso cuts. It's a shame sometimes you can't. Is what it is. Not knowing who this figure is. Not knowing who makes it. Not giving a shit about the character. Can you tell me, honestly, that this is a bad-looking sculpt and a bad-looking action figure? I would say if you say it looks like shit, you are just trying to troll and you are lying. That's why my boy is killing it. Let's move on to some other Nolan Batman stuff that I have inside, and we'll wrap it up. I'll quit yammering. You can yell at me after this. You can subscribe if you want. You can like the video if you want. You can do whatever the fuck you please on here, all right? My channel is open to anything except for sending me dick pics. Let's go inside. AC cranks in the background. Let's just summarize it or sum it up. I mean, we have everyone here. Lucius Fox, Anne Hathaway Catwoman, who looks great, could have been a disaster. Wired Cape re-release of Bale. That's a Platinum Edition that made sense. Build-A-Figure Bane. I didn't like that you had to build this guy, but he did come out again in a big collector's edition or mega figure edition, whatever. The wave was hard to get. That's my biggest complaint. Joker, a little bit of a Chad body, kind of jacked, but it's fun. This is a fun line. It's a great line, and I really think he went all out, and I'm so glad he did. As always, take care. Have fun.
Woo! Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah!